Hey you guys, I'm so excited. I'm finally going to be filling up this raised bed to start growing. Now this is an elevator raised bed that took me quite a while to modify and to repair to make it work in my tight space. I'll show you guys the work that I've done on this later in the episode. But right now I want to talk to you about Hugelkultur. Now Hugelkultur is actually a German word. It means mound or hill culture. So it's basically any kind of organic matter, things that would break down organically can go in this space. It is a really great way to, mound and to fill in a large area to plant. So I will be using this method because it's going to be really inexpensive. Imagine filling up a large space with just potting mix that you have to buy. It is going to be so expensive. That's why I'll be using this method. It's going to be some food scraps that I've collected over a couple of weeks, garden pruning some green and brown materials for the past few months. I've collected even branches. So I'll be putting those sort of things in this bed. The great thing about this method is that if you got some logs or fallen trees, if you have access to those, they are going to be so wonderful once they start breaking down in your soil as the microbes get to them, and you'll get this really healthy fungi action under in the soil. It would even though you can't see what's going on, you're going to see it by the plants, through the plants. They're going to grow so healthy for you because it's living in this, really rich organic compost, basically, once everything starts to slowly break down. I don't have access to any logs, so I will just have to make do with what I got here. The first thing I'll be doing is to line this up. I've already gone ahead and cut this liner. Now this is a pond liner. I just want to make sure that it is nice and thick, that this material is going to last for a long time because it is an elevated raised bed. Imagine if something were to break, it is going to be a nightmare. This is a step that's totally optional, especially if you have a raised bed that's just built directly, in contact with the ground. You probably don't even need a liner. To cut this out, I basically measured, the width and the length plus the depth of this planter to get this full measurement. Let's go ahead and put this on. Before I did this lining, I actually sprayed this down. So that's why this is this color now. If you guys have caught one of my previous episodes of spraying down my dragon fruit trellis, the reason to do this is to keep it, basically extend the life of my beds. And it's a very non-toxic, very quick and easy way to do that. And after spraying, it actually stains it to this very weathered look, which I really personally love. Here it is. So this is like a boat. It's got it all ready to go. Next, I'm just going to screw this on to hold it in place. There's all sorts of ways to, keep the liner on. You can staple gun it, or I got these tiny little screws that actually came from the original liner that I removed. So I'm just going to reuse these screws, these tiny little 1/4 inch screws. It's a little long. I can always trim it later. Okay, so this part is done. It's not perfect, but it doesn't matter because all the soil is going to fill in anyway, and I rather have the backside being taller than the front just so that it looks better. If I really want to get it perfect, I can always take a pair of scissors and trim around, along the edge here. But I'm just going to worry about that later. Right now, I just want to focus on getting the raised bed ready to plant. Next, I will actually punch some holes through these so that there's some drainage. I can feel where the holes are. I got a step bit here to drill it. That's just because I happen to have one to use for many projects. I mean, they're just poking holes. You can always just burn some holes in it or poke it with something sharp. All right, let's get on to the Hugelkultur. Hugelkultur is an in-place composting technique that's used in Eastern Europe and Germany for centuries. When you're piling rotten, old logs, fallen trees, dried leaves, or even composted manure, you are mimicking the way how things decompose in nature. Normally, growing in bare soil, it will deplete itself if you don't add any nutrients back each growing season. Now with Hugelkultur, soil will build with time, and it becomes more rich as the wood and organic materials gradually decompose. You can think of this as a form of slow-release nutrients. So in the years to come, the soil will become more nutrient-rich, so full of life, microbes, fungal activity to keep your plants healthy. All right, this part is actually not part of the Hugelkultur, but I just want to add some trace minerals. So this is rock dust. As materials break down, moisture would build more in the soil, therefore you wouldn't have to water as much. It'll also heat up the soil just a bit to help prolong your growing season. However, this won't start to happen until things start to break down some more in time. You're not going to get this benefit in the first year. I like adding things like kitchen scraps since they would compost a lot faster than wood. About halfway to the top of the bed, I like adding worm castings, fertilizers, and rock dust so that I can get started planting right away. Some of the tree branches and mulch you see here were pulled from a pile of compost that I had set aside for a few months. The bacteria in this rotting plant materials will help speed up the composting process. Finally, add soil on top. This would help to fill in all the air pockets and space in between everything that we've put inside. Additional ingredients such as humic acid and fertilizer are not part of the Hugelkultur practice, but I decided to include them since this is an enclosed bed. I wanted to give them more nutrients, and the humic acid would help speed up composting. And then I like to add a layer of potting mix on top. So just a couple bags of potting mixes were the only things I've purchased to fill up this bed. You can also use topsoil that you harvest from the earth. That would work just fine too. If you're planting in a bed that's attached to the earth, worms would just naturally come. Since this is an elevated raised bed, there is no way they can get up here. So I'm going to introduce some of them so that they can help compost and to leave behind their traces of castings for the plants. Adding worms to your bed or not, I'll leave that up to you. Look how rich this stuff is. Just gonna put this on top. Just wanted to show some of you who left suggestions on how to fix the casters. Thank you. I've blended a few ideas together, ended up adding another piece of wood on each leg, switched out the shorter screws with the 3-inch screws. Now they're sturdy as they can be. As you can see, this is a super easy, fun method to use. I love that I can just throw anything compostable in here, like eggshells, ground coffee, paper towels. You know what? Cardboard would be good in here as well. I totally forgot about that. And then when I got closer to the top layer, I started putting a little more nutrients like rock dust, just very thin sprinkles of rock dust, climate guard fertilizer, worm castings from the bin that I harvest, and then I got some really fine and beautiful, another type of black gold I call this. It is a mulch from years and years of composting just leaves and bark. It's actually leaf mulch that's been composted down for many years. My buddy gave me some of this that he made. There's still a good 5 inches I can do here, but I'm just gonna wait for my Boogie compost actually to go in here to bury, and then after that this bed would be ready to plant. If you guys want to see more composting videos, I will have the Boogie compost. It's super amazing. I can compost pretty much anything you can think of. I will give you more information about that one in the future episode that will be coming out soon. If you guys enjoyed this one, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and hit the like button, you guys. Please go check out my website at wendiland.com for your plants and seeds and some garden products. Thank you so much for your support and your views. I shall see you right back here in the next one. Bye.